r/AskReddit by dailydoseofreddit. Serious former nice guys of Reddit, when and how did you change? I was the worst. Totally I'm so in love with my best friend. Why is she dating that douche when she can be with me? I think as I got older and saw other guys doing it, it seemed so pathetic and sad that I just kind of snapped out of it. For the record, when I told that girl I loved her, she laughed, and that was the last time we ever saw each other. That might have helped with my transition. Yeah, can totally say I did this. Threw myself into someone who saw me as a friend for years. Finally got the balls to express my actual interest, and she had none. I was so upset I lost interest in dating more women. By that fact, women all of a sudden became interested in me when I really didn't care. After I got through that, which isn't a great place to start a relationship either, I really was more interested in taking care of myself because it was important to me. My most fruitful relationships came when I realized we enjoyed being together but didn't need each other. Meet my wife, and that's a huge aspect to build upon. We truly need each other now, but we are still our own people. We continually grow together and individually while working to grow and learn about each other as that happens. Sounds cliche, but the advice about taking care of #1 first really does ring true. If all you want is a relationship and only want to focus on that, why would another person be interested in you? You become interesting and can draw them in by being an individual as well. Then you get the benefits of a healthy relationship. Seems backwards, but really just a chicken and egg thing. Plus, there isn't really a way to this you can copy. It's all up to you individually, but that's what makes you neat. Close bracket. I don't remember what put the thought in my head or how I came to the conclusion, but my thought was, I want all these women. They don't seem to want me. Maybe I should focus on being the kind of guy they actually want instead of the one I think they want. I ended up ditching the part where I was bettering myself to get women and just focused on bettering myself. School, career, hygiene, living situation, and women coincidentally became more interested. Man, I need to forward this to a friend. I genuinely care for him, but he's way too deep in his nice guy mode, and I'm afraid he'll inch towards the incel people. He's constantly complaining about no one is interested in him, and he tried everything, whether it's paying for dinners, messaging more frequently, dressing differently. I told him a million times, it's about bettering himself and making himself a more interesting person. He thinks that'll be wasting the time he could be securing the right person. Really can't convince him. I watched my husband's BFF go down the incel route fast. In the end, he verbally and nearly physically assaulted me because I wasn't saying what he wanted to hear about all women. I was so scared I didn't get to tell him the reason why he can't get laid is because A, he's 200 pounds overweight, B, he doesn't bathe, C, his car smells like ass, and D, he has never, that I could tell, cleaned his apartment. E, he can't hold a job because of A through D. I mean, take a fucking bath. FFS. Why isn't that the first thing you consider? You want me, or any other woman, to fuck you without you having bathed first. WTF. Anyway, rant over. I was told that if you're a nice guy only to get laid, you aren't really nice and more of a suck up loser who expects rewards for being a decent human being. Being nice to get laid is manipulative and dishonest. The last thing I want in a guy is someone who lies to get what he wants. I'm glad you grew beyond that. I'm going to copy and paste my previous response to a similar question. Watching The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I found myself rooting for Quasimodo through the movie, and when he didn't get with Esmeralda, I was mad. Furious. He deserves to be with her for how noble and brave he has been. He should have her, and she should give him a chance. Then, I don't know why, but something clicked after that thought. Esmeralda clearly was happy with the other guy. I mentally flipped the script and realized I would not be saying the same if Quasi is handsome and Esmeralda was ugly. I also realized that Judge Frollo was the character who most shared my mindset at the time. He deserves Esmeralda, for he is so pure and good. Frollo being the antagonist caused me to really reconsider my thoughts on relationships. girls, and generally just the way I treated women. That was 10th grade, and while I don't have a girlfriend as a college sophomore, it doesn't bother me like it would have if I had continued down that course. Not much has changed in the 7 months that passed since I made that comment. Still no luck with relationships, but I'm trying to find new ways to improve myself. Most of my friends are girls, and the most advice I've gotten is be yourself. I do fear that I come off as a nice guy at times, since I tend to be polite and compassionate, but I think I'm comfortable with who I am. I don't expect a relationship to fall from the sky, nor do I expect anything just for being nice. But when I confide in friends about my frustrations, I worry that I come off as what I once was. And the most advice I've gotten is be yourself. Be yourself, but be the best version of yourself. Take some time to figure out what you're good at, what you love, what your passions are, what you live for, what your purpose is, and take care of yourself. Basically, a few years ago, I really liked a girl, and she seemed to like me back. I sort of turned manipulative, but turns out she was just as bad. People always wondered what it would be like if a nice guy and nice girl got together. It's nothing but fighting and guilt. I realized how bad she was and got out of it, but in the process, found out I was no good either. I changed quick after that. This happened to me as well. I don't know what position I would be in today if I didn't break up with my then psycho girlfriend, who was a nice girl in general, but slightly crazy if you really knew her. Not the sexy kind of crazy, but crazy. As a former nice guy TM, I'm still figuring my shit out. I knew that my pathetic spinelessness and constant sympathy begging wasn't getting me anywhere in life, so I wanted to make a change. It came across as a complete lack in self-confidence, which was not attracting anyone. So I decided to carry myself differently, and it's helped. But like I said earlier, I'm still figuring my shit out. You should for sure be a nice person, but for the love of all that is holy, be genuinely kind. Not just nice to get what you want. Be kind to one another. Replacing the word nice with kind totally takes on a different meaning. Say two little siblings are fighting. What sounds better? A parent saying, be nice to one another, or be kind to one another? Saying be nice sounds like putting up a facade. Saying be kind almost has a sort of a calming effect. Say the words out loud to yourself. I find myself saying the word kind in a soft tone. Even my demeanor changes a little. My shoulders become relaxed. Kindness is the opposite of nice. Kindness, you do things without any expectation. Honestly, I grew up a bit. I was tired of always feeling that way, so I decided to grow up a little bit and start making changes to better myself. If everyone ignored me, I must be the common denominator, right? 3 years later, I'm a much happier person, and even my close friends had noticed the changes in my behavior. Nice guys, if you are anything like I was, you're literally making it harder on yourselves. I was never a nice guy, but I was close to one, and in many ways, have a lot of sympathy for those guys. For me, it was getting tired of being pessimistic all the time. Pessimism makes everything in your life harder. Nice guys are rooted in pessimism. Once I adopted a more positive outlook, those habits that I had largely faded away. I have sympathy for nice guys because they are making their own lives harder and don't realize it. I was always the guy who was flirting with every girl, and I was just socially inept. Now I'm socially inept, but more respectful and mindful of it. And how are you doing now? I did the same. I'm still alone, but having fun on my own. Lost weight because health. Got a dog. Saved money and bought a house. It's been over 5 years since the last time I flirted on real life, and every time I try less online dating sites too, feels like a waste of time and makes me sad. So I just accepted those things come naturally and live the best life I can on my own. Single since 22. I'm 33 now. The older I get, the more I accept my loneliness, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Probably high school. Realized that being nice wasn't an achievement, but a prerequisite for social interaction. kinda just grew out of it when I saw being overly nice wasn't going to get me women's. Apparently talking to them like everyone else and not making a big show of a basic human kindness, lending your jacket to a chilly female friend etc will make most people like you. When you make a big spectacle of yourself about being nice, then people will see right through it. What I like about the jacket comment, as a female, is that it's so true that things like that become special moments later instead of being a transaction toward the goal in the moment. Sincerity and letting those things come naturally means someday, after being polite and not trying too hard, they may look at you well into your relationship and say, "Remember that time you lent me your jacket? That's when I knew." We don't want to be told how to feel, just to know that you're there with us having the same experience is enough. Ended up browsing through r/nase guys and saw the similarities and results. Immediately focused on my own work for once. Turned 180. Congratulations. That's very old. Being the world's oldest person by many decades changes your perspective in life. Hope he finds love before 200.